Okay. Is this visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So today I would like to discuss about the ports of 8051 microcontroller IO ports, and then second session I would like to discuss about the serial ports of 8051. Okay, so two different type of ports we need to discuss today. First is the IO ports of 8051 and second is the serial port. So let's start with the IO ports of 8051 microcontroller. Okay, so in 8051 microcontroller, uh, there are 32 IO pins configured as 4 8-bit parallel ports named as P0, it's port 0, port 1, P1, P2, and P3. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so each pin can be used as an input port or output port under the software control. Now these IO pins can be accessed directly by instructions during the program execution, or the IO ports are memory mapped in the 8051. That means they are treated as memory location. Okay, now out of these 32 IO pins, means 4 ports are available: P0, P1, P2, P3, each of 8-bit IO pins. So out of these 32 IO pins, 24 pins only, that means from P0, port 0, and from port 2 and port 3, may each be used for two different functions. Okay, so they have alternate functions. Okay. So normally, actually 40 pin, it's a 40 pin IC. So now within this 40 pin IC plus another 24 alternate functions are available using these three ports P0, P2 and P3, and there are two at another pins are there for programming purpose. Okay, so total actually 66 pins are available, though some are multiplexed with the, or it has dual purpose pins in 8051 microcontroller. Okay, actually it is a 40 pin IC, and to minimize the pin number, that's why some alternate function has been incorporated into some another pins. So basically port 0, port 2 and port 3, these three ports have some alternate functions. Only port 1, that is the dedicated port. Okay, that is only for using input output interfacing purpose. Now every port, it's a SFR, it's a one type of SFR, special function register, SFR is called as P0, P1, P2, P3. Now if so as it's a SFR, it has specific address. Now for P0 means port 0, the SFR address is 80. For P1 it is 90, for P2 it is A0, and for P3 means port 3 it has B0. Okay, now each SFR register P0, P1, P2, P3, these are also bit addressable. Means from 80 to 87 it is under P0, port 0, means P0.0 is address is 80. For P0.1 the address is 81. So in this way, for port 0, the last pin which is whose bit address is as 87H. Okay, so in this way for P1 also, that is from 90 to 97, port 2, that is from A0 to A7, and port 3, that is from B0 to B7. Now consider the first port, which is port 0, and that is here. This is the structure of port 0, uh, and how it works I will discuss. So port 0 can be used as an input or output, or a bidirectional data bus and a lower order address for external memory. Okay, so it has alternate function. So what is that? That means port 0 can also be used as multiplex bus, means AD0 to AD7, and can carry address or data. Now the control signal directs the address line to the gate of this T1 transistor, or it's called FET. Okay, now if AD line, this address AD line, this one address data line, so if it is one, then upper this T2 upper transistor or FET is on and lower is off, so pin becomes logic 1. Okay, and if it is 0, then this one will be off and this T1 will be on, so it has logic 0. So these are the alternate functions. Now coming to the main function, which is used as IO function. So when P0 is used as an output port, what happened? So writing 0 to pin latch here, so writing 0 to this latch, it's a latch, D-type latch. Then if 0 is written, then Q equals to 0, so Q bar is 1. Now this Q bar will be connected to the gate of T1 through multiplexer. Now when the port is used as an input or output, internal signal control will be 0 and connects Q bar, this one connect this Q bar to the output of 2 to 1 multiplexer here. Then, so if control here, so if control is 0 at that time, it is connected to the 2 to 1 marks. The Q bar, this one will be 1. This will turn on this T1 and thus grounding this FATE, the port pin, and logic 0 will be available to the port pin. Okay, so if it is 1, so here in this position, this will be 0, and pin port in this pin, it gets the logic will be 0. And while writing 1, so it is for 0. Okay, it is for 0, like in this case here. So if this one is, so I have discussed this one, if it is 0, then Q is 0 and Q bar is 1 at that time. So control equals to 0, and it is directly fed into this 2:1 multiplexer, where this multiplexer output is connected to this FATE gate, where this 1 is given. Output from this will be 1, so it will be on, this FATE will be on, and it is grounded, so the pin logic here will be 0, so the pin gets 0, logic level 0. And while writing 1 to the latch, then Q equals to 1. If it is 1 is given in this position, so Q will be 1 and Q bar will be 0. Then this will turn off this T1, which floats pin to high impedance state. Therefore, an external pull-up register is needed to provide logic 1. So that's why T2 in this case remains off when the pin is used as input or output. Okay, so that is writing 1 to port 0 pin. Now what happened if this port 0, it is used as alternate function, that means it is used as your lower order address bus, means 80 to 87. What happened? So when P0 is used as an address bus, so address bus, the internal control, which is this one, the internal control signal connects the address line, this address and data line, it is connected in this way to the gate of T1 using this mux, and the logic 1 on the address bit will turn on T2. If it is 1, so it will turn on. Okay, so control is now given as 1. So address is also 1. So after connecting it through this gate, this will be 1, so it will on this T2. Okay, and so it is used as an address bus and at the same time. Okay, now at this time T1 is off. Okay, so only T2 is on, so it will get, so it is connected to the VCC, so it will get 1 at this pin. So this is used as your 1. So if address is given as 1, it is directly connected in this way, so that the pin will get 1 always. So then if address bits are suppose 1 0 1 0 0 0 1 1, so first it gets 1, then 0, then 1. What is your address bits? Corresponding address bits will be flow in this way. So using this pin, the address bits will be transferred. Okay, now what happened if address bit is 0? Then at that time T1 is, at that time T1 is on, but T2 is off. Okay, for providing logic 0 at port pin. Now once an address is issued and latched into external latch using ALE, external latch is the bus behaves as a data bus. Now if data is to be written to the external memory, because this will be actually this port 0, what happened, it will be used as your address bus or data bus in case of external memory operation. Okay, so the data will be written to pin exactly in a way as the address is written to the pins as uh, given in this way. Okay, so I have discussed just before this. Now if the data is to be read from the external memory, the control logic will automatically write one to the latches to configure this one. This will be one, and now this port will be used as your input port. And so when control is 0, when control this one is 0, so both T1 and T2 will be off at that time if it is an input. And if it is 0, then this q bar uh, is connected to the gate through the multiplexer, and the data at the port pin will be transferred to the internal data bus in this way. So either this pin function can be read in this way after giving this signal to this buffer, and it is directly connected to this internal data bus to read the pin. And if you want to, if you want to access the latch output, okay, so Q, if you need to read this latch out or latch output, then it is to be connected with this buffer, and using read latch enable pin, this is connected to the internal bus. So the using that internal bus, the Q must, so the output of this latch must be read by the controller. Okay, so that is the function of port 0. So next is the port 1. Structure of port 1 is this one, and port 1, it is actually the dedicated port which is used as IO port. So it has no alternate functions, like in other words, it is not used for any other functions except this is used as IO port. Now the basic operation of port 1. And before discussing this one, first needs to understand uh, some basic concept like configuration of the port as an input or output, or reading a port pin and writing to a port pin, this fundus. Now each port pin has a latch. Okay, this type of this type of latch, each port, whether it's P0, P1, P2 or P3, everywhere. So it has a latch, input buffers B1 and B2, and output driver circuit which is as T1. Okay, now the data from the internal data bus is written into the D latch when the write to latch signal is activated. Right to latch, this is the enable signal. Okay, it is connected to the E or G bar or E bar, whatever the enable pin of that latch circuit. Okay, so when this signal is given, it activates this latch, and after writing the data byte into this latch, the corresponding outputs will be on. So as a result of appropriate instruction execution, whatever the Q output of this latch uh, is just copied into the internal data bus. Now if it is 1, it is 1, but it is 0, so it is just copied from this one to this one. Okay, so when the read latch signal is activated, this one is activated, uh, and the label of a port pin is copied into the internal data bus when the read pin signal is activated. The instruction so which activates these signals, so we will discuss later after certain slide. So what happened if it is used as an input port? So look at this picture, next slide. Clearly it is written. So what happened if it is used as input port? How it works? So the port pin will be configured as an input port when we write 1 here in this position to the corresponding bit or latch. Okay, now when 1 is written, what happened? Then this one will be just copied here in this position. We will get 1 from this output. So the Q bar will be 0, and if Q bar is connected to the gate of the transistor FET T1, then it will be off. Okay, it will be off. Now it will behave as an open circuit and disconnect the input pin and ground. Therefore, the input signal connected to the pin will go to the buffer B2 here. So if it is connected, this is the connection is made by this B2 buffer. Okay. So when we read the input port using any instruction like move A comma P1. Okay, so we need to just move the status of port 1 into A register. So move A comma P1. So if this instruction is used, the buffer B2, this one, will be enabled by this read pin enable signal. Okay, so every buffer trusted, if it is any buffer circuit, there must be one enable pin, and here this enable pin is called as read pin. Okay, and we are actually reading a port pin. So to read the port status, what is the status of this port, you must give this signal activated to read the output of this buffer, and this output is directly connected to the internal data bus, so that the required number of status, if it is 1, then 1 will be transferred through this data bus. Okay, and if it is 0, so 0 will be transferred. Okay, so actually we can read that pin status. Okay, now all the port pins are configured as an input after reset in 8051 microcontroller. Why? Because 8051 writes once to all port latches after reset. Okay, so it is an input. So when we press when we get give the reset signal, automatically 1 will be written here, so that if 1 is written, so it works in this way. Okay, now if a 0 is written by program to this port latch, this in the same way 0 is written to the port latch, then it can be reconfigured as an input by writing a 1 to it, and always so every time, always when reset signal is given, so it goes into the input thread, and you can change it by using the software method. Okay, by the programming method. Okay, so if it is output pin, what will be the operation? So nothing extra has to be done to configure a port as an output. Whatever level 1 or 0, which is written over here, 1 and 0, these are two different. So this picture actually it is used to describe the writing 1 to the port pin, and this figure, it is used to discuss the writing 0 to the port pin. Okay, so first we need to discuss this one. So if it is 1 or 0, whatever, the same label will be directly appear on the port pin. Now logic 1, that is high, can be written to the port pin by simply writing 1 to the here, simply remove to the port latch, and when one is written to this D latch, it will make Q as 1, so Q bar will be 0, which will turn off this T1, and therefore 1 will appear on the pin and the pin will source the current, this one. Okay, so it is source the current and the pin status will be as 1. Similarly, logic 0 can be written by writing 0 to the port latch, and if it is written 0, so we can get 0 as our output in Q, and Q bar is 1, and if it is 1, it is if it is so we will it is turned on, and the pin will be connected to the ground, and it will sync the current. Okay, sync the current. So so here we can get as a 0, so the pin status will be as 0. Okay, okay, this will be on, this is not off, this will be on. Okay, this is the configuration of port 1. Now coming to the port 2. Port 2, that is used as input or output port, exactly similar to port 1. The other use of port 2 is to provide higher order address byte to access external memory. Okay, so port 0 actually holds the lower order address, and port 2 stores the higher order, provide the higher order address byte to access external memory. Okay, so that is the structure of port 2. Now when it is supplying higher order address signal A8 to A15, the internal control signals connect address lines, to the gate of T1 through this inverter. Okay, now a 0 on this address bus, a 0 on this address bit will turn on this T1 and provide 0 on the port pin. So if this FET is on, then it sync the current and it will get 0 here in this position. Similarly, 1 on the address bit will provide 1 on the port pin here. So port 2 latches are kept stable for the duration of the entire external memory read or write operation. Okay, okay, do you have any queries?
No, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, so I'll proceed to the next part. So after port 2 we have port 3, the last IO port for a discussion. So actually port 3 can also be used as input output port, similar to port 1, and the alternate functions are controlled by various special function registers. Okay, so the special function alternate functions are these one. So we will discuss first. Let's see the structure of port 3. So the alt so here this will be same, just one uh, this will be same in this case. So the alternate functions, it has different functions. And what are the functions? The first one is, suppose this is the port 3. So now port 3 is divided into 8 bits with 3.0, which has function as to receive the serial data bit by bit, and 3.1 which has different function to transmit serial data uh, bit by bit, and 3.2 that is used for interrupt, external hardware interrupt 0, and that is for external hardware interrupt 1, the next pin. Then the next pin is P3.4, which is used to give the timer 0, give the input to the timer 0, which can be used as your as a counter. Okay, and P3.5 again, T1, which is the function is to give the input to the timer 1 and can be used as a counter. And port P3.6 that is used for write, that is used in write operation for external RAM purpose. Any data can be written into the external RAM, and that's why this port pin bit, particular port bit can be used. And the next bit, which is P3.7, the last bit of port 3 can be used as your in case of read operation, to read some data byte from the external RAM. So these are alternate functions of port 3. So either these can be performed, or port 3 can be singly or individually performed to process any input output which will be needs to connect with input output peripheral devices. Okay. So these are the IO ports configuration. So do you have any doubt, any queries? Anyone has any queries? You can ask me. Do you have any queries? Anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. If you don't have any queries, then we will proceed to the next topic, which is the,
Hello, sir.
yes, yes.
So for the all ports, when the read signal connected to buffer 2 is high, then the port will go for read operation, and when write to latch is high, there it will go for write operation. That is the
No,
only
that
difference.
no. For every time it can be used for used to write, because write operation either 0 or 1. What you need to write, that can be happened in input also, that can be happened in output also. Okay, it is not mandatory that if you want to write as 0 or 1, like if it is 1 is written, it is used as input port. That is not correct. For input operation, you can write it as 1 or you can write it as 0. For output operation, the same thing, you can write it as 1, write it as 0. It as per your
So
requirement.
then, sir, how will we mention? So then, how we will mention that port is used for read operation or write operation?
Either so you have certain functions and instruction, either this can be used for read operation, or this can be used for write operation. It is used by the instructions. It is not fully hardware controlled.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anyone? Okay. So move it to the next topic, which is the serial communication. And for serial communication, we have a port which is called serial IO port. So all of you know about the serial communication techniques. Hope so. Uh, so certain things I need to again so just revise this uh, in okay. So there is a peripheral IC which is called 8251, if you can remember this, and that is called the user universal synchronous asynchronous receiver transmitter. Okay, now that can be used for serial communication purpose, and if 8085 or 86 is to be connected with this 8251 user, so that can be used for serial data communication, either synchronous way or asynchronous way, because we know that the serial communication can be um, done either simplex mode or duplex mode or full duplex mode. Okay, now in simplex system, what is to be done? So data can be transmitted only in one direction, that is a one-way communication, like as for example radio, television broadcasting, sending data from any keyboard to the CPU, or sending data to the CRT to the display. These are the different examples of simplex operation. And another is the half duplex mode. The data transfer in duplex mode can take place in both directions between the two systems, but only in one direction at a time. Two-way radio system is or walkie-talkie is a half duplex system. Full duplex system, in this case, both the communication can take place in both the directions simultaneously between two systems. However, separate conductor wires are required for transmission and reception. Now the telephone line, for example, which is used this full duplex system. Okay, so TXD line is there, which is used for transmitter output line, serial data output line, and RXD pin is available at, in that case, receiver for receiving purpose, serial input data receiving purpose. Okay, now different driver circuits are also used to maintain the required signal strength for a long distance communication purpose. Okay, so there are two ways to perform this serial transmission, which is one is the synchronous transmission, another is the asynchronous transmission. Okay, in synchronous transmission, uh, what is to be done? A common clock is used for both transmitter and receiver. Now the clock is transmitted separately using a dedicated link. Since a common clock is used to um, maintain the synchronization process, the message which is to be transmitted or received in this mode are usually very long. Now in case of asynchronous transmission, the synchronization of both clock signal is achieved only at the beginning of the transmission, and then it is maintained by either transmitter or also the receiver till the end of the message is transmitted or received. Okay, since there is no synchronization throughout the transmission, the amount of data transmission is very small, usually 1 byte. Okay, 7 beats or 8 beats within 1 byte. Now for a new message, the transmitter and receiver are resynchronized at the beginning again. Okay, now a dedicated link is used in synchronous communication to achieve synchronization between the transmitter and receiver. But the disadvantage of having this type of technique is that the system cost will increase. Okay, the synchronization in asynchronous transmission is achieved through the data link. Uh, Data link, which is called the cables lines. Okay, and here the cost is very less. Okay, so in